Good morning, Praveena ma'am, and all the August audience who are listening to me and can see me. I am Archana Mathur, a former principal and a PGT English. I have taught Pan India because my husband was an army officer. He retired as an army officer. And so I've had the fortune of traveling all over India and also to teach in some very good schools. So I've learned a lot from my colleagues, from my seniors, from my counterparts. I've had to, brush my shoulders with some wonderful children who are still in touch with me, and it feels great to be in touch with my old schoolmates. At present, I am working as a freelancer. I go to train teachers in different schools and places in collaboration with a few publishers of English books. I also am a very keen YouTuber. I keep uploading videos on my channel, as you can see. Eloquent English Enterprise is my channel. I upload at least one video per week, maybe more. So I enjoy sharing my experiences and whatever knowledge I've collected over the years with everybody, whoever may wish to see my videos. So today I'm here with the topic, leadership with purpose. Be the leader you would like to follow. Now, leadership here per se for me is a leader of a school, of an educational institution. It could be college, it could be maybe a tuition center. But we do need to have leaders wherever we have any organization, because any organization without a leader will not be able to function properly. So my tagline for this is, be the leader you would like to follow. As students and even as grown-ups, even as adults, we have met so many people in our lives who have had a very powerful impact on us, on our thoughts, on our behaviors, on our attitudes. So we do admire a lot of people. If I say choose one or select one of the people whom you really, really admire, you may find yourself at crossroads because there are lots of people who inspire us. The first inspiration comes from our parents, our revered parents who have brought us to the world and who have looked after us. So they are the first leaders that I, as a person, would like to emulate, my father and my mother. And I guess it's the same at your end. So over and above parents, there have been relatives, numerous relatives who have made a mark for themselves in their lives. And of course, my beloved teachers, right from nursery to post-graduation and beyond. Even colleagues right now whom I keep meeting every now and then on different platforms. So let me start with my presentation. All right. Sorry. Okay. When we talk of educational leadership, what is educational leadership all about? What does this mean? As I just mentioned, for any organization, whether it's educational or otherwise, even if it's a corporate set of workers, you need to have a leader. So if we talk in terms of education, it's usually the principal or the headmistress of an institution who is the academic leader or the head of that organization. So educational leadership also needs a base. It needs a foundation. So this is built upon the application of knowledge which the leader has, and it is applied in the way that particular organization needs it. Why? Because we need to make a positive difference to the workplace wherever we are, as a person or as a leader. So what we basically need to do is we need to collaborate with our team, we have to communicate with them, and we have to be an absolute professional in this scenario because we are working with diverse communities. As I just mentioned, I have worked all over India and I've met different sets of people because in different areas, if you go to Bengal, the ideology, the way of life is different. If you go to Gujarat, again, it's different. I've been to the South, it was so different. So every place has something positive about it. And as an educator, as a teacher, I imbibe those qualities. And today I feel I'm a wholesome personality because I've taken, bits and pieces of all the good things which were offered to me And today I stand very, very enlightened when it comes to education. So this education or these kinds of experiences that we as teachers get from different walks of life, these need to be used to have a very, very strong leadership and also to build partnerships with the institutions around us. We cannot be frogs in a well where we just, cater to our own little organization. But no, we have, because now the world has become a very small stage. So we have to build partnerships and we have to promote positive outcomes. Just as a teacher, I'm sure people would know what are learning outcomes. We expect children to learn something from our teaching. Similarly, as a principal or as an educational head, we look for positive outcomes by setting of transformative goals, goals which are going to transform our unit, our organization into a better organization. So effective leadership is definitely important because you as a leader are the face of the institution. I'm sure there are so many principals you would have heard of who've made a mark. For one, I remember Mrs. Gauri Ishwaran, who was the principal of Sanskriti School in Delhi. Very, very famous school. Then we have colleges like St. Stephen's, Miranda College. The principals are absolute distinguished people and they serve as icons for other leaders to follow. So that's why if you want to become an icon, if you want to earn a name for yourself, you don't only have to be a leader, you have to be an effective leader. So to be a school principal who can provide effective leadership, especially during times of crisis, when things are good and it's smooth sailing, anybody can do anything. But when it is a critical situation, that's the time when your real character comes to light. Like, for example, when the pandemic happened, when Corona happened or COVID happened, it was a very crucial time for teachers, for students, and for parents, and of course, the management. So, because there are so many stakeholders when we talk of education, it's not just the principal and teachers. Students also get affected, parents get affected, the management gets affected because they had to pay when nobody was even attending the school physically. Of course, teachers were working, but it was a very, very disturbed kind of a situation. So the real mettle of principles came to light when COVID happened. And it's not just COVID which can happen. There could be trying and testing times anytime. There could be a fire in the school, there could be floods, there could be, cloud burst. And at that time, when everybody is running helter-skelter, when everybody is, creating commotion, it's the principal, it's the head who has to come to the forefront and make everyone understand, don't worry, I am there. So this is effective leadership that I'm talking about, to stand when everyone else has lost their ground. So one also needs to be very clear and straightforward in approach towards a problem. You can't, become very jittery yourself. You cannot lose your confidence, because if you lack these leadership qualities, then you will not be able to lead your institution into the right direction. Good principals also must provide effective leadership to guide teachers, students, staff, and even parents. See, as a principal, you don't have to lead people. You have to create more leaders in your life. Okay, a good leader is who can make more leaders during his or her work time. So, as a good principal, I need to see that others who are following me, they also become good leaders. They also become good principals in the time to come. Next. So there's a 3C strategy for school principals to develop effective leadership. Okay, there are 3 points or 3 attributes which school principals need to imbibe in their personalities. And these are communication, consistency, and calmness. If they have these 3 essential qualities in themselves, then they can become very, very effective school principals. And when I'm talking of school principals, maybe within my viewers, there could be leaders of corporates, There could be leaders who are heading different kinds of organizations. So this is, though I'm talking in terms of school and education, but it's applicable to all kinds of heads. It could be a CEO, it could be a senior manager, it could be anybody at all, whoever is heading any particular institution or even subparts. You have so many departments. So even if you are a coordinator, you are the head of the department of a particular subject, this is applicable to any kind of leader, not necessarily school principals. Communication is the first point. If I am not a good communicator, how do I communicate to my team? How do I let them know what exactly I want? So communication skills have to be excellent whenever you are a leader. And these attributes are not necessarily, they don't come to you by birth. You can develop them as you grow. So communication skills, for that you need good vocabulary, you need to speak effectively, you need to speak very frequently so that you know what is to be spoken. The second important aspect is consistency. That is, be consistent in what you say. Today, if I say I want this, and then tomorrow I say no, that was not a very good idea. Let's work upon this. So my teachers, my followers, they will get confused. What does she want? So when I say something, I must stick to it. And so for that, I need to be very sure with myself that, okay, if I'm doing this, then I will stick to it all through. I will not change my ideas as I proceed, because that is not going to help me or my team. So we as leaders have to be very consistent, not just in our ideas, but also in our actions and feedback. The third C stands for calmness. Any school principal who's jittery, who gets angry very fast, and one side is very sweet, but within a few moments turns into a roaring kind of a lion or a tiger. No team is going to like such a leader. You have to be calm throughout. There could be testing times, there could be very difficult times. Your staff can give up, but you as a leader are supposed to keep yourself calm. You have to keep yourself composed. As a leader, we are not supposed to get swayed by our emotions. Otherwise, we will never ever be effective leaders, whatever team we are heading. Okay. Next, we come to other qualities of good leaders. Not necessarily educational leadership, any kind of leadership. So what are these qualities? Anyone can strive, anyone can want to be a very successful educational leader, but there are some very common qualities which we need to have as a person. And these qualities are compassion. You have to be compassionate to your team. Now, there are two things. One is sympathy, one is empathy. Sympathy is when you look down, you have a kind of a tender feeling for somebody. Oh, I'm so sorry. Empathy is when you put yourself in the place of that person and you feel what that person is going through. So when you have empathy, then you can have compassion. You will realize what the person is going through, and then accordingly you will react and you will give your ideas. The second one is vision. Vision, we think of what we are seeing. Okay, that is, I can see something. Vision is something which I see for the future. It is foresight. So as a leader, I need to look ahead of times. Like 6 months from now, what do I exactly want? And then I work my way towards it. That is vision, or that is foresight. And last but not the least is perseverance. All right, perseverance is to keep working hard till you achieve your goal. And when one goal gets over, start with another one. So perseverance is continuously wanting and trying to reach your goals and not to give up. Okay. You never say, I quit, because quitters are never leaders. Leaders never ever quit. So keep persevering, keep trying, and you will succeed one day. Next, we come to leadership skills. Those are qualities which we have to imbibe by looking at other people. Skills can be developed. So what are these skills? Analytical thinking. Analytical thinking means in a particular situation, what would be the rightest thing, what would be the best thing to do so that I can get the best results. We are not supposed to stick to, those old points. We have to think of new outcomes and new ideas into getting things. Collaboration, of course, we are a team, and in Hindi we say, "Ek akela chana bahar nahi phod sakta." One man cannot build a city. So we have to collaborate with our colleagues, with our juniors, with our management, and then we come to, this is how we are going to create good things and good future for our team and the institution. So as an educational leader, we should understand the importance of equity, that is to treat everyone equally, keep morals, ethics is our moral structure, and be socially justifiable, become a good kind of a judge. So whenever there's any kind of problem, any situation, so you have to think very proactively and come to the right decision. So if you can bring about solution to difficult problems, this is going to make a very positive difference to your community, and it's going to have a very positive impact in your own community, and of course then later on to the entire community as a whole. What does equity and educational leadership mean? They have to go together. As an educational leader, you have to be working in different kinds of situations. So you have to cater to diversity. Inclusion means including all different kinds of people, whether it's teachers, whether it's students, whether it's parents, because they all come from different social strata and different kinds of communities. So equity and equal kind of behavior, which is justified to everyone, should be there. So as a practitioner, the role of an educational leadership professional is not just a theory or distance from real communities. You cannot be dealing with them in a virtual manner. You have to be there personally. So there are lots of difficulties which come your way, but you have to learn to overcome them so that your institution and your own team can grow. I'll have to go a little faster. Now, there are some unseen struggles which only the leaders know. All right. And what are all these? It's some kind of opposition comes from your team also. And what are all these? These are some educators who have been very old recruits. They have a very thankless kind of an attitude. Maybe in a school, there's a principal who's young, who's about 30, 35 years old, but there are teachers who are 50 plus. So they feel, oh, he or she is just a baby. What is he or she going to teach me? So they become very stony. They do not want to change their ideology. And so they have a very thankless attitude because they consider this child, this principal as a newcomer and somebody who probably does not have as much of experience. This is something which most principals have to go through because there are a lot of old employees in any kind of organization. Then these people are very resistant to change. They will not want to come to school if you call them. They will not want to do any kind of course if you offer. They will not come to the workshops that you organize because they just want things to go on the way it is. I mean, things are going on. Why? Their question is, why should we do it? Everything is going on fine, but they do not realize that life and everything is changing. Technology changes every single day. So why should we stick to the same educational policies? There has to be a change to make progress, but they resist the change. They do not want to go for professional development. They say, why workshops? We know in fact, we can go and teach people, but they do not realize that technology, etc., is changing. And we all know that with the coming of the new education policy, things have changed so drastically. So our senior teachers, our senior educators also need to understand the importance of professional development. And it's not just they themselves, but they want to, because they do not want to change, they go and influence other young people also in the group. So it is very disruptive kind of an influence. They don't want to change and they create a team which is going to be against the leader. So these kinds of problems are often faced by principals and educational leaders. So their struggles continue. The other kinds of problems which school principals have to go through are, they have to boost the morale of their teachers because, with time, everything becomes very stagnant. And then the other bigger problem is retention. There are some people who are very experienced, the staff, and they want to quit. The moment they get a little raise somewhere, they quit. They resign and they move on. So to retain your staff is a big, big problem. So how do you treat them? How do you boost their morale? How do you intend to keep them in the school so that they do not go? Because going off an experienced teacher is a big setback for any institution. So this, the principals have to work at. They have to retain their good teachers. They should also be very good at the resolution of conflict, because as again in Hindi we say, जब दो बर्तन होंगे तो आपस में खटकते ही हैं. So when you have a team which is diverse in nature, there are bound to be some kinds of frictions between your staff. It could be just anything, small matter, it could be a bigger matter. So you as a principal or you as a leader must know how to resolve this kind of a conflict which happens to take place amongst your teammates. You have to maintain the school reputation because you're the face of the school. And also you have to fight for resource allocation. At times your management does not give you what you want, but then you have to put your point, you have to keep your foot down, and you have to continuously persevere to get what you want, not for yourself, but for your team and for your students and the school per se. So professional development is not just, making yourself grow as a person. It includes learning and training your staff, your team, your students, so that they can also improve along with you, and they can also move towards a better pasture, towards greener pastures, and they also develop in their career. And your students become responsible, they become enlightened, and they become very intelligent and wise people as they grow up. Why is professional development important? I've already discussed. It makes you a better employee, you as a principal and your teachers also. The second is it helps you receive more opportunities for career advancement, because if you're good, like as I mentioned, Mrs. Ishwaran, I think even if she applies now, anybody would take her hands down, because she's made a name for herself. She's carved a niche for herself. So you will grow as a professional, and people will give anything to have you as a part of their team. You become a more desirable candidate. Your team becomes more desirable because it's not just knowledge that you have, but also a lot of experience. People know how hard you work to bring up your team as a whole and your school. It, of course, improves your own skill set and knowledge. So professional development is a must. We cannot ignore it anyways. Your company, your school, your team, your organization also benefits from your growth as an employee, because they get a good name in the society, right? And of course, they will then, if you do well, you will be rewarded for your success. So the benefits, as I've just mentioned, it improves your confidence. You become a very confident person. It enhances your hiring professional because, it's not just you who are working, but you keep them, you can hire better people, because now you know what to look at in the new team members that you're looking for. You develop skills, your own skills and that of your team. It increases your job opportunities, and of course of your team also. They may go or not go, that is up to you. You don't let them go. And it expands your networking opportunities. That is, we go, grow beyond our own institution, beyond our own organization. So our network expands and we become more popular. Okay. And thanks to technology, I don't know where you all are looking at me from, but I can relate to so many people sitting in one room. So networking opportunities increase if you develop yourself professionally. I have learned a lot of techniques and things in the last 2 years. So age does not matter. You can learn, you can do anything at any age. And also, as a leader, you have to provide mentorship. You have to see if anybody has any kind of emotional problem or any kind of social problem. So you can act as a very good and influential mentor. And to wind up, there are 4 ways to improve your professional development. Create a schedule of goals. Okay, have very clear-cut goals. Like I said, vision is important. So if you have goals, only then will you be able to work for it. So learn new skills, complete training programs, attend conferences, and read books. There's nothing better than reading. They say books are the best friends of man and women, of course. Attend training programs, attend workshops, go out. There are so many programs which are organized for school leaders and for teachers. Attend them once a day, I mean, once a month, or maybe even once in 6 months, or even annually. If you get a chance to attend these training programs, please go by all means. So you can attend these training programs, webinars, seminars, and now you don't even have to go. You can keep sitting in the confines and comfort of your room and attend workshops, because these are going to help you in your professional development. Take new roles, not just be a principal, but you could become a coordinator of a social organization which is working in your city. I mean, there are n number of things that you can do. Continue your education, continue to study, because education never ends. It's something which goes on and on and on. It will never come to an end. The more you learn, the more you feel you do not know. So you can have a certificate, you can earn a license, you can take classes, you can get a higher degree. I've met recently lots of people who've done, post-graduation in 3 subjects. So who's stopping us? We can also go and better ourselves. We can develop ourselves as professionals. So thank you, dear viewers. It was wonderful to talk to you about my, ideas and my own experiences. I hope I have been able to make a positive impact on you as a person and as a leader. Thank you so much. Thank you, Praveena, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. If you can stop sharing your screen.
I'll do that.
So there are, I will just miss Apurao Devgan. Yeah, she has joined, and one iPhone XR. I don't know who's that. I don't know the name. Both of you, if you want to ask any questions, you can unmute yourselves and you can ask the questions to Miss Archana Mathur. Yes. Can you introduce yourself? It says iPhone. So.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This is Principal Dashmesh Public School, Mukeria, Manpreet Kaur Bhogal. Definitely, I really enjoyed the session. It was very, very fruitful. Thank you so much, madam. Looking forward to many more such sessions in future as well. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Apura sir, I know he's a part of a lot of groups on WhatsApp, and he writes wonderfully well. I know he's a very, very talented person. Hello, sir. Seeing you for the first time.
Hello, sir. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you. Grateful for your kind words.
You deserve it, sir. You come up with wonderful ideas on the groups, and I've been following you very closely.
Thank you from the core of my heart.
Any questions?
Any questions, sir?
My dear, I joined it a bit late, so means.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Archana, ma'am, like I have a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
Coming to the main purpose in leadership, can you elaborate on how leaders can identify and define their purpose? So many wants to lead, so many people, but how can they identify and how can they define their purpose, ma'am?
Ma'am, I know for myself, when I was a teacher, I felt like when I experienced a couple of principals in different schools, I realized that they were lacking in a few attributes. I mean, to be a principal is very good. I mean, it's good to lead a school, but then there were certain attributes which I felt they were lacking. So I always thought that if I become a principal one day, I will try to overcome these particular personal, the attributes which they had. Because after a certain time, after teaching, I felt that there is a lot more than I can do. So there's an inner voice which tells you that diversify from what you are doing and do something which is not going to affect just a few students. But as a mature person of the society, if you can influence the educators, because train the trainer thing is very important today. We talk about training the trainer, right? So
Right.
if as a person, I thought I had that bit in me, I had that metal in me, that I could make an influence on the teachers so that in turn they could make an influence on their students. So it was a voice, in my case, it was a voice within myself which told me that leave this, because here you are only doing something which is a particular set of things to do. Like you have a particular syllabus, you have a pattern to follow. But when you become a leader, when you become a principal, there's so much you can do. Every day is a new day. Every day you face new challenges. You get to meet different kinds of people. Otherwise, same students. So to make myself as a better person and experienced, I diversify. So as a leader, you should have, like now coming to general people, if you want to be a leader, listen to your soul. Ask yourself, what do you exactly want to do? And if you feel you can make a difference as a leader, please go ahead, by all means.
Right. So you have mentioned Sanskriti school and like their work and how they transform themselves and all. So can you provide examples of other organizations where leadership with purpose has significantly transformed the school's culture, ma'am?
Yes, wherever I have worked in schools in Delhi, I won't name them, but sometimes they were public schools and sometimes army schools, because when I was, I could not select myself wherever there was an opportunity. So there were some principals who were so good. I mean, I'll just mention a few of their qualities. Which I
सारे
as
मेंबर रूम भगे है ना, कोई छत पे क्यों चला गया?
Can you mute yourselves, please?
हाँ, मैं कह रही
Audience,
थी,
can you
छत पे
mute
क्यों चला
yourselves? Excuse
हैं?
me. Principal ma'am, can you mute yourself, please?
हैं? हाँ, हाँ,
Okay. Yeah,
I
ma'am.
think you can mute as a
I
person.
did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, in my Delhi school, appreciation was something which I really felt was something great. You do the smallest possible thing and they would come, they would appreciate you. There are schools, there are principals who will never be happy with whatever you do, and it comes as a dampener to your morale as a teacher. But in this particular school, anything, even if I would write a report for something which had happened, a newspaper report, it was just 5 lines, they would find a way or means to appreciate me for what I had written. And once they, maybe they liked the report, I really don't know, but they appreciated my handwriting, which I
Right.
thought was something very, very small. So this is how you bring up your team. This is how you reward them. You make them feel that they are an indispensable part of the team. So a leader can bring about a lot of change in their team members. They appreciated everything. They always were there. You knew it, that if I'm in a time of need, if I need something, they will be there. They are so supportive. So a school leader has to be supportive. They have to be appreciative. They have to make their team understand that you are not alone. I am there with you. So this is what I learned. But in another school, there was a totally different culture. You keep doing everything, but they will find something to pin you down. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. You're working hard, you're doing everything, but the principal will tell you, aap to kuch kar nahi rahe ho. So this should not happen. Every employee is trying to do their best. Maybe there are always a few people who are not working as per the requirement, but most of the employees, most of the teachers are doing their best. So they need appreciation. They need to be treated as human beings at least. So these schools, the public schools where I worked, and even in the army schools, some principals were excellent leaders. They made the employees understand that they were there with them. They were always standing next to them. This is very important as a leader.
Right, ma'am. So coming to the challenges, ma'am, as you mentioned that like some principals or anyone like, the criticism will be there anyway. So how can leaders maintain their purpose in the face of external pressures and changing circumstances?
Yes, this is where, ma'am, as a person or as a leader, I feel you need to weigh the pros and cons of the situation. I'm sure there are teachers who may go wrong because they're all human beings. So if we have to highlight a wrong which they have, committed for some reason, we have to, in a very sane manner, make them understand. Shouting or making them feel bad about it, or being rude to anybody is not going to help us at all. So in a very dignified manner, the situation has to be explained to our team people, to the team members, and they must be made to realize that, okay, this is where you've been wrong, and this is how you could have probably dealt with the situation in this particular scenario. So when we deal with them patiently, we make them realize their mistake rather than just, making them feel like somebody who's done a wrong, rather than making them into a criminal, making them feel like somebody who's done a big wrong. It's better that we make them realize in a very gentle manner. And this is where our leadership skills come to play. So every situation has to be dealt with. Like I mentioned, the COVID times when everybody was scared to come to the school. But patiently, the principals, the leaders, they handled their team. They made them realize that you are safe over here. Don't worry. Your children are safe. You are safe. There are times when schools have had fire. So rather than running helter-skelter, the principal has to be very calm. She has to see that everybody, the building gets vacated. He or she, whoever it could be. I'm not doing any kind of gender discrimination. So you as a leader, whether you're a man or a woman, you have to be very calm in these situations, because it's here that your true mettle comes to the fore. Be there.
Right, ma'am.
Be like a pillar.
Right. So you are a freelancer. You have enormous amount of experience, like in all aspects, like be it as a teacher, be it you might be, principal or a leader. So what advice would you give to emerging leaders who aspire to lead with purpose in their careers?
Okay, with whatever little experience that I have, I would firstly say, be a human being. Before you are a teacher or a principal, you have to be a human being. So whenever there is a problem, whenever you feel a certain person, a student, a teacher, or any team member for that matter, is not doing the right thing, you place yourself in their place. Be empathetic. That's what I'm trying to say. Be empathetic. Try to analyze the situation from their point of view rather than your own. And then you will be able to see why a certain person is behaving in a certain manner. So that's of the first most importance, that you have to be empathetic. Then you have to be very knowledgeable yourself. It's not just theoretical knowledge that I'm talking of. You need to have an idea about a lot of things. The co-curricular activities, sports, music, debates, declamations, art and craft. So you have to have a fair knowledge, because otherwise how do you guide? So many times the art teacher will come and tell you, ma'am, I made this, it's not looking nice. Do you have any idea? So you should have a very keen eye for fine arts also. There's a debate going on. Maybe you're not a language teacher. Not all English teachers become principals. There are people from science background or maybe social studies. But then you must know the nitty-gritties of all these activities, which usually form a part of a school curriculum. So if you have adequate knowledge, not just of your own subject, but also of all the other things which happen in the school, you will become a great leader, because your teachers very easily realize that you have knowledge about everything, whether it's music, whether it's sports, whether it's other co-curricular activities, handwork, stitching, cooking, gardening, anything. So if you have a fair knowledge, then I think you can be a very good leader, and your teachers, your team will come to you for your guidance and your ideas.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Sanjay, sir, also has joined the meeting. Sanjay, sir, do you have any questions? Any questions, sir, Mr. Sanjay? Okay. Sir, Apurav, sir, do you have any questions, sir?
So unmute yourself.
No question, no question. But I wish that all of you read a poem composed by me, Principles Stand Alone. It's a very famous
Okay.
poem,
Yeah.
Principle Stands Alone. Reason being, like you are 100% right that finally, first thing that we are human beings, that should be kept in mind. Important thing what I feel is, like if you visit my home, 75% of area is covered with books only. Motivational books.
Great.
I've written, maybe you can see on Amazon, The Miracle of Commitment. Okay, this book was approved by AWES for all army schools all over India. Then in 2018, then Sarvatkari Vidya Mandir, the Shmesh group of institutions, Shivali group. What I mean to say is that means principal should always be full of energy. Reason being
Yes.
that there will be times when things will go wrong, but he should have that means that aura. I remember during COVID time, you gave example of COVID time. In one of my sections of 10th class, 21 students got affected.
Oh.
Okay, you get the message and 21 students got affected, but all the parents, they stood by me.
Wow.
That
Nice.
was the beauty of the situation. And when media person came, the CMO he himself came, and he said, I will answer, don't talk to the principal, he is doing all his best, because he had seen my arrangement. Every day I was getting room cleaned myself. Then means whatsoever precautions were to be taken, I was working on that. Like principles, like when we speak of coming up principles, the biggest concern is commitment. They lack it. Second thing, what I feel,
Are you there, sir?
Some, I think, connectivity issue.
Yes, yes. So thanks a lot, Mr. Apurav, sir. It's nice, suggestions from your end. Because of the time constraint, we need to wind up the session now. Thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions, ma'am. And I also thank the audience for participating in the event. We will end the session now. Thank you.
आम्ही हे सर
Thank you,
बघतात
thank you so
सगळं
much.
आणि वर्गामध्ये
Thank
नोटीस
So thank you for giving me this opportunity, ma'am. It was wonderful sharing my views with my very eminent counterparts. And I look forward to maybe a few more sessions with you.
Sure. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good day to you. Bye-bye.